Welcome to week 22. Our topic this week I'm calling Seeing Through Mental Narratives. Seeing through our mental narratives. When I think about that topic, what comes to mind is a quote that I read a while ago from a couple of authors. I think the names are Worthington. I forget. I think Worthington 2010. But they talk about what they call the scourge of the wandering mind, the mind that wanders unchecked. And initially, it may seem as if when your mind wanders, which all our minds do, that when we allow our minds to wander unchecked, it seems as if there's nothing going on. But what we find, and certainly what Worthington found, is that when the mind wanders unchecked, what it does is that it hoovers up stuff, a bit like a hoover. You know, when you hoover on a carpet, you hoover your carpet, it picks up all sorts of stuff. Yes. And you only realize what you've picked up when you find yourself in a latent mood. Have you ever found yourself in a mood? You're not quite sure why you're in a mood? More often than not, it's because your mind has been wandering unchecked and picked up all sorts of things that begin to play in the background. There is a need, there is a need for us to take responsibility for what plays in the background of our minds. And that's what comes to my mind when I think about this topic, seeing through the mental narratives. Because what plays at the back of our minds are those mental narratives. And more often than not, those mental narratives tend to be more negative than positive. That's what the mind does. More negative than positive. So when you find yourself, and it happens to us all the time, believing in something that is playing in the mind, I mean, it's something to do with yourself, um, telling you that you're not good enough to do something. You're not good enough in the workplace. This week is going to be so hard. It's going to be so hard to cope. When you start hearing these kind of narratives, the first thing to do is to bring your conscious awareness to it. Just recognize that there is something playing there. That's the first step. It might feel like it may feel like an unimportant step, like um, a minute step, but it's a very powerful step. And I tell you why. It's powerful because all of a sudden your mind is no longer unchecked. Your awareness, which you have brought to it, is now the foundation through which you're seeing through it. Yeah, you can now see what's playing, and then you can ask yourself the question, is this true? Is this helpful? And if it's not helpful, then you can change the narrative. You can change it to something more positive. And so in mindfulness literature, we talk about if the mental script that you've been using is not working for you and me, then it's time to switch it, change it, change that mental script to something that is more nourishing. That's the word I was looking for. More nourishing rather than um, draining. If your mental narratives are draining you, making your heart flutter, bringing a sense of self-doubt, feelings of anger bubbling up from nowhere, um, feelings of being misunderstood and miscommunicated, all these feelings that may just come from nowhere, then it's time to change the narrative. I like this quote by Robin Sharma, and he talks about what we're speaking about here right now. And can I just say before I read this quote, this happens to all of us. It's not unusual. The mind wanders. That's what the mind does. The key is to bring awareness to it and to bring awareness to it with compassion, with a sense of compassion. Yeah. Bring awareness to it. It's subtle, but it's powerful. And so this quote by Robin Sharma, the mind is a wonderful servant, but a terrible master. The mind is a wonderful servant, but the mind is a wonderful servant. Just raining outside, that's why I looked outside there. It's a wonderful servant, but it's a terrible master. If you tell your mind what to do, it will do it. If you leave your mind to master, if you leave your mind to do what it wants, to take control of you, it's terrible at that. It will lead you down rabbit holes, down areas of just complete unhappiness and dissatisfaction. I mean, you know there, you know what I'm talking about. Listen, I've been there myself too. Many of you will know I lived as a monk, and I entered the monk because I needed to control this. And I still am on the journey of controlling this. This is a continuous journey. And the word is not control, rather, the word is to manage. In emotional intelligence, we talk about um, emotion management, cognitive management, from the background of awareness, using your awareness to manage the mind. And so our meditation today, our practice today, I like to use the word practice rather than meditation. Our practice today is about recognizing the narratives. What narrative is playing now as you even listen to this? They're always playing. What narrative is playing? What narrative is playing when you think about work next week? When you think about a relationship? When you think about a person? Um, when you think about something that's been bothering you, what's the narrative that's playing there? And once you notice that narrative, ask yourself, is that narrative true? Is it helpful? Can you change it? And so today we're going to spend 10 minutes in this practice. This is a practice on bringing awareness to our narratives, bringing awareness to the narratives that are playing. And it's interesting, isn't it? The way to really bring awareness to any story playing in your mind is just to close your eyes for a second and take a breath. Take an intentional breath, almost breathing all the way down from your mouth, all the way into your whole body, just to reset yourself. And then let it out. And you can do that again. And you can do that one more time if you want. And this time you can do it with even with a sigh. And there's no one listening. A sigh as you release the breath. Oh, it's a gentle sigh to release any kind of stressfulness that's resulting from the wandering mind. And feeling yourself just getting a bit more relaxed. Allowing yourself to arrive here at this practice today. Sitting on the chair that you're sitting on the floor that you're sitting on, perhaps on the bed that you're lying down on. Bring your awareness to the fact that you're sitting, lying, standing, or walking. And you do that by paying attention to to the body as you breathe into the body. And noticing with each breath that you take into the body, just that gentle relaxation that comes with every breath. Feeling the air through your nose into the body. And as you breathe into the body, notice what happens then. With each breath, do you feel any sensations? Kind of like warm tinglings around the thighs, perhaps. Perhaps around your head, the back of your head. They might be warm, they might be cooler tinglings, just sensations around the body. Bring your attention to that with each breath. This is what's happening to you with each breath, unconsciously. And when you bring your conscious awareness to it, you begin to notice these things that we miss. All these things that ground you, enable you to be here fully. And if you don't feel any sensations or any tinglings, that's perfectly fine too. Just notice what you do notice. And just allowing yourself to be here exactly the way you are. And as we sit here together in this electronic space, you and I, take a dive now into your mind from a place of awareness. The intent here is not to think now, not to think about the thoughts that are going on there. The word that I like to use here is for you to just gently notice the thoughts. You have the capacity to stand apart from your thoughts, to notice them, to see them as they gently bubble away. Jon Kabat-Zinn describes thoughts like bubbles, almost like the bubbles that a child makes when they dip the stick into lather or into soap and blow, and the bubbles appear. Big perhaps, small perhaps. They glide in the air, and as you watch them, what do? Eventually they go pop, disappear. And so to our narratives and our thoughts. Just before they pop, just notice what they're saying. Watch them. Notice them. Notice how these bubbles have to a large extent shaped our lives because we've allowed them to. They are just bubbles after they are bubbles therefore that just go pop and disappear. What are the narratives that you're seeing now in your bubbles? And so what we're going to do now for the next few minutes is just to sit and watch. You can listen to them too, but don't partake in them. Realize that they are not who you are. They are just thoughts. And as you watch them, you begin to realize just the amount of strength that you have as the watcher. You are the watcher, watching. Can you feel the space that arises now between you as a watcher and that which you are watching, as in the bubbles of your thoughts, the bubbles of your wandering mind? In that space between you and your thoughts is your strength, is your capability and capacity to be whatever you want to be, how you want to show up. And so as we come towards the end of this practice, let's end with that question. How do you want to show up? Show up with strength. Show up with power to be what you want to be. Taking a deep breath now into that space between you and your thoughts, breathing in that strength, breathing in the capacity and capability that you have. Breathing in who you are and what you are beyond your thoughts. When you're ready, you can open up your eyes. Thank you for participating in this meditation today. And I always like to end with the quote that we started with: "The mind is a wonderful servant, but a terrible master." That's a quote by Robin Sharma. So this week, the tip this week is whenever you notice any thoughts bubbling away, see if you can label them. Is it a story? Is it a belief? Whatever it is, label it and then step back from it like you did during the meditation and recognize that they're not you. Ask yourself, is this thought helpful? If it's not helpful, then you can change the script to something helpful or abandon it altogether. You've got the capacity to do, you've got the capacity and the capability to do that. Have a good week ahead. See you soon.